pas changer bien ici. Regarde cette tête. Il y a un autre toujours. Comme ça, vous ça marche.
Okay, so I think we are ready to begin now. So I think last time we finished with this slide talking about fractions and equations. Do you guys still remember this? So on top here, last time we talked about how in a fraction, if we multiply or divide the top number and the bottom number by the same number, then the fraction does not change. So A over B is equal to A times C over B times C, or A divided by D over B divided by D. So for example, 5 over 25 is the same fraction as 20 over 100 because we multiplied 4 on both sides. And this is also equal to 1 over 5. Why? Because we divided 5 from 5 over 25. So it's 1 over 5. And we have another example. 0.05 over 0.1 is equal to 5 over 10. So multiply by 100 on both sides, and it's equal to 1 over 2 by dividing 5 on both the numerator and the denominator. I think you guys were good in terms of adding and subtracting equations. So I think here is a clearer side where we explain the conversion between fractions, decimals, and percentages. So you would need to know how to convert between fractions, decimal, and percentages. So this is a fraction, 1 over 2 or 5 over 10, 50 over 100. This is called a fraction. If you put it in a decimal form, this becomes 0.5. And if you put it as a percentage, this becomes 50%. So you can represent or convert between fractions, decimal, and percentages. So for example, if we have 60% in decimals, that is 0.6. Because 60% is 60 over 100, right? As a fraction. We see it here, 60 over 100. That's 60%. And as a decimal, that is 0.6. And we can also simplify this fraction, right? By dividing 20 on both the numerator and the denominator. And then we get 3 over 5. Let's see the next one. The 25% is 0.25 because it is 25 over 100. It's 25%. And if you divide by 25 on both sides again, we get 1 over 4. That's the simplified fraction. And in the last example, we have 72%. We can represent this as 72 over 100 or 0.72. And if we divide by 4 on both the numerator and the denominator, we get 18 over 25. And that's after simplifying the fraction. Yeah, does this make sense to everyone? The conversion between fractions, decimals, and percentages. And please do ask any questions if some of this might be confusing, but yeah, is everything clear? I hope it is clear. So I also drew some of these to represent the fraction as a map. So 50%, you take half of the square. And then this is a representative of 3 over 5. It's taking 3 spots out of the 5. And in the bottom here is an example of 1 over 4. Okay. So let's have more practice in simplifying or expanding fractions and converting between fractions, decimal, and percentages. So let's look at number 1. 0.04 over 0.2 is equal to 4 over what, do you think? What goes here? So how do we get from 0.04 to 4? We multiply by what number, do you think? So what goes in here? Yeah. So what do we multiply this top 0.04 by to get the number 4? Yeah, sorry if you couldn't hear before, but we were just talking about finding this number right here that is equal to the fraction of 0.04 over 0.2. If 4 over something is the same fraction, what is this something? And yeah, if it is still a little confusing, I was asking if what do we need to multiply 0.04 by to get 4? Multiply by what number?
It'd be 100.
Yeah, right. It's 100. Yeah, great. So we multiplied the top side by 100. And we need to multiply the bottom side by 100 too, right? Because that will give you the same fraction. So what will be this number? This denominator here. That would be, yeah, that would be 20, right? 20. Yeah, because we multiply 100 by 0.2. We should get 20, right? So think about multiplying by, 10 and 100 and moving through decimal points as moving the dots. So like you can move 2 dots here, 1, 2 over here. If you put the dot here, that becomes 4.0, like that. If you multiply 100 by 2, 0.2, sorry, you can think about dots moving from here to here. That becomes 2.0 if you multiply by 10. The dot moving from here to here, that would be 20. Right? Okay. That's why we got 4 over 20 by multiplying 0.2 by 100. Okay, then what is what this question mark over 100? Can you guys solve this? What is this one?
Inside.
Yeah, if you multiply, multiply by 5 to get 100. And if you multiply by 5 too, 4 times 5 is 20. It's going to be 20 over 100. So that is sort of our fraction case. It's 20 over 100. But that's how do we put 20 over 100 as a decimal? Here. That's the next question. So now we have 20 over 100 equals, what's the decimal for 20 over 100?
It's 0.2.
Yeah, that's right. Great job. It's 0.2 as a decimal. An easy way to think about it is some number over 100 will always take the form of 0 point, and then these two are the numbers. So you're dividing by 100. So if you have like anything, 37 over 100, that will be equal to 0.37. So you're dividing by 100. And if you have something like 1 over 100, that will be 0.01. Something like that. Okay. Now let's look at the next case where we convert this into a percentage. what is 0.2 as a percent? And percent means out of 100. So yeah, so 0.2 or 20 over 100 as a percent would be it'll be 20 out of 100, right? So it's going to be 20 out of 100. So it's really just 20% because we have 20 over 100 and percent just means out of 100. So that's why we have 20%. And if you have something else, like if you have a decimal of 0.56, then the percent will be 56%, right? It's always going to be 0 point and then the percent. And this will be in decimal form. And if you put it in fraction form, this will be 56 over 100. Always remember to be able to convert between these three forms because that will be really important when solving mathematics problems in the future. Okay. Let's look at this number two. Number two. We have 100 over 500. And what will be the same fraction when it is something over 100? What is this number? Oh, yeah, I think I heard some people say 20, and that would be correct. Yeah, it'll be 20. Yeah, great job. And yeah, whoever said 20, because we are dividing in this case. So we're not multiplying. I mean, we can multiply by 1 over 5, but we're dividing by 5, right? Dividing by 5. So 500 divided by 5 is 100. And 100 divided by 5 is 20. That's why we get 20 over 100 again, because we have divided 5 on both sides. Yeah, great job. And now what is this in this form? 20 over 100 is 1 over, what is this number?
5.
Yeah, great job. It's 5. It's 1 over 5. I think you're getting the hang of it now. Yeah, that's great. So again, what will be the decimal form of this?
Give me 0.2.
Yeah, again, it'll be 0.2. And the percent will be, again, 20%. Yeah. Yeah, so this is the same convert number at the end. We get 0.2 and 20% again, but we have derived it from a different fraction. See, we can see that on the first one question, we started with 0.04 over 0.2. That was the same as 20% or 0.2. That is also equal to this number here, 100 over 500. Yeah, you can see these are the same fractions. Okay, let's look at number 3. Number 3. Can you represent 2 over 5 as a percentage? It's 2 over 5.
No. Let's convert it. David,
Yes.
for 40%.
Yeah.
Then 40%.
Oh, did you say 40%? Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, great job. Because we have 2 over 5, right? And we can multiply both sides by, we can multiply both sides by 2, for example. And we get 4 over 10. And what is 4 over 10? You know, that's 0.4. Or, yeah, 40%. Yeah, great job in solving this. So I think the explanation is shown here. So, yeah. That's how we solve number 1. Remember. Yeah, and I hope this gives a clearer sense when it comes to simplifying fractions and converting between fractions and decimals and percent.
Yes.
Yeah, please let me know if you're finished writing, and if you have any questions.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, if you're ready, then we can move on to the next slide. Okay. Now let's get back into our BEC questions. So here, let's look at this one. Given that A is this 2, 3, B is x negative 3, and C is 7, 3. And the question asks to find the value of x if 2A plus B equals C. Find x. X is here, right? Can everyone see this? X is over here, inside B. So we need to find this value of x when this equation holds. So this is a little different type of algebraic equation because we're multiplying a number by this vector. It's different. So I have set up the equation here. 2a plus b is equal to 2 times 2, 3 plus 1 times x negative 3. And that should equal c, right? C, 7.3. But if you add 2a plus b together, you get 4x plus, 4 plus x, 3. Because here, what is 2 times 2? That is 4. Yeah, 4. What is 2 times 3? That is 6. And then when you're adding in this form, this vertical, it's called a vector form. But if you're adding in this vector form, you add the top components together. So 4 plus x. That's why we get 4 plus x here. We add 6 plus negative 3. And we get 3 here. That's why we got this form. And we're saying that this should equal c because of this equation right here. Because of that, whole thing should equal c, 7, 3. So if we solve 4 plus x is equal to 7, then x will be equal to 3. That's how we would solve these questions. And this is a little bit trickier because we're dealing with vectors instead of just regular variables like x and y. So, and I hope everyone still understood how to solve this question. And we get 4 plus x equals 7 by equating the top side with the next top side here. So it's always the case that we equate the top side with the next top side and the bottom with the other bottom side. Yeah, does this make sense? Yeah, so I hope this is clear to everyone. Yeah, so we finally get 4 plus x equals 7, and then x equals 3. Yeah. And then let's look at number 2. Number 2. So it says d is equal to c minus 3a. Can you find this vector d? Okay.
Here is one negative 6.
Yeah,
One negative 6.
yeah, that's right. That's great. It's 1 negative 6. Yeah, great job. Because we have c, which is 7, 3. And then we're subtracting minus 3 times a. 3 times a was 2, 3. So finally, we get 7 minus 3 times 2, which is 6. 3 minus 3 times 3, which is 9. So it'll be 7 minus 6, 3 minus 9, which is 1 negative 6. Yeah, that's why we got 1 negative 6 for D. Okay, if you're ready, we can move on to number 3, this part. It says to find the magnitude of the vector D. And this is a different question. They're finding the magnitude or the length of the vector. And how do we find the length of the vector? Let's see on the next slide. This is how you find this form. And this form is called the magnitude of the vector D. So we had D is 1 negative 6. Remember? D is 1 negative 6. We find the magnitude by taking the square root of this first number component squared plus the second component squared. And this is the general formula of the magnitude of the vector. So if you have just A as xy, how do you find the vector magnitude? You take the square root, everything square root, of this x squared plus y squared. That's how you find the magnitude of a vector. Yeah. Yeah, and this is something that maybe you need to memorize. So in any case, when the question asks you to find a magnitude of a vector, you need to use this formula. And you will get the answer. In this case, we have square root of 37. We can't really simplify that further. So we just leave it as square root of 37. That's our answer for number 3, for part 3. Yeah. And if you draw this vector D on the graph, it looks something like this right here. D is pointing over to this area. That is 1, -6. And we've just calculated the length of this vector, the magnitude. Okay, finally, let's just have another example. If the question asks, find the magnitude of the vector 3, 4, what will be the answer? It will be square root of 3 squared plus 4 squared. That will be 9 plus 16. Right? If we have 3, 4 as our vector, it'll be 9 plus 16 inside the square root. That will be square root 25, which is equal to 5. 5 would be the magnitude from 3, 4 vector. Okay. Does this make sense to everyone?
Yes.
Okay, then we can move on to the next question. Okay, let's look at this question together. A polytank contains 4,500 liters of water, and 1/5, 1/5 of the number of the water is used for cleaning. Find the volume of water used for cleaning here.
Yes.
Yeah, here we're finding the water, the volume of water used for cleaning. So it's 1/5 of 4,500, right? So what is, 4,500 times 1/5? And that will be our answer. So
Okay. It's 900.
yeah, right. Good job. That would be 900 liters. Yeah, because 4,500, you get 900. And yeah, that's our answer here. let's look at number 2. What is the percentage of water that is left in the tank? How do we find that? So, what fraction of water is left in the tank when 1/5 was used? So 1 minus 1/5 is equal to what? Is
What's the answer?
yeah, it's gonna be 4/5, right? Because 1 minus 1/5 is the same as saying 5/5 minus 1/5, which is equal to 4/5. So 4/5 is left in the water tank. Then what percent is 4/5? What is the percent?
Maybe uncountable. Next. Maybe 8.
Yeah, great job. This will be 80%, right? That'll be 80% because if we multiply, yeah, 2 out of those, you can multiply 20 by both the numerator and the denominator. You get 80/100, right? 80/100. And that as a percent is 80%. So yeah, you get 4/5. And as a percent, will be 80%. And remember that percent, you always multiply by 100 at the end. So for example, we had 80/100, and a percent, you always multiply by 100%. That's why we got 80% as the percentage of water remaining. Yeah, great job in solving this question. So we can move on to the next question. So number 4. A woman borrowed 5,300 Ghana cedis to pay for her child's university fees. If she borrowed at a rate of 8% simple interest per annum for 9 months, find the interest paid. So, yeah, this is the interest problem again. And we solved this last time, right? Yeah.
Hey. Maybe.
Yeah. Mhm.
Maybe.
Yeah. Um, so to find the interest paid, remember that you need to multiply principal times the rate times time. So principal is the amount of money started. It's 5,300. Rate, yeah. Rate is 8% per year, or 0.08 per year. And the time is 9 months. And you don't use the number 9. Why? Because 9 is in months, right? We need to convert that into years, because per annum means per year, right? We need
Yes,
to,
I get 1,900. David.
yes.
Yes, I get. David, I get 1,900.
Yeah, let's see. Um,
That's I get 1,900.
yeah, if you
Yeah.
multiply, you have to multiply the principal times rate times the time. And we're just, finding the simple interest and not the total amount of money that is left. We are just calculating the simple interest. And the most simple way that we can do that, is by multiplying the three numbers. Yeah, because we had 9 months, we get 9/12 year, which is 0.75 years. So you simply have to multiply all these three numbers together. The principal times the rate times the time. Yeah, that's how you get the simple interest. Yeah, please let me know if you have any questions about this.
David, no, don't have any question.
Okay. If this makes sense, then we can move on to the next question. All right. So B, let's look at this question. A father shared his piece of land to his 3 children. And the first child had 2/5 of the land. And the second had 5 acres more than the first. And if the third child had 20 acres, says to find how many acres of the land the father shared. So number one is asking for the number,
Yep.
the amount of acres the father shared. So the way we approach this problem is the first child had 2/5 of the total land. So if we set the total land as X, the land that father shared, then it'll be 2/5 times X for the first child. Because the first child had 2/5 of the land. So it'll be 2/5 times X. And the second and the third child the second child had 5 acres more than the first. So the second child had 2/5x plus 5 acres. Right? And then the third child had 20 acres. Okay. He had 20 acres in total. So to find the total amount of land that is shared, how can we find this? Well, we set up this equation. So we need to add the number of acres or land that each child had, the first child plus the second child plus the third child. The first child had 2/5x amount of land, plus the second child had 2/5x plus 5, and the third child had 20 acres of land. Yeah, and can we all solve this algebraic equation? This one? Yeah. And can you confirm that we get 125 acres as the total amount of land the father shared? Yeah, so that's how we find x. We have 2/5x plus 2/5x, which is 4/5x. And then we have 5 plus 20, which is 25. And if we subtract 4/5x on both sides, we get 1 over 5x is equal to 25. That's how we got x is equal to 25 times 5, which is 125. Yeah, if we found x, can you find how many acres of land the first child received? So what would be 2 over 5 times x? Yeah, so how would you find 2 over 5 times x? That would be 2 over 5 times 125, which is 50 acres. And the second child received plus 5 of the first child. So 50 plus 5 is equal to 55 acres of land. Does anyone have questions about this problem here? Yeah, if nobody has.
Let's go back again.
Yeah.
Let's go back again.
Oh, yeah, I can go over it again. Yeah. So a father shared his piece of land to his 3 children. And the first child had 2 over 5 of the total land. And the second child had 5 acres more than the first. And the third child had, the third child had 20 acres. And it asks how many acres the father had. So number of acres the father had, we can set as x. We can set as the variable x. And since the first child had 2/5 of the land, the first child has 2 over 5 times x. That's the first child. The second child had 5 more acres than the first. So remember, it is 2 over 5 times x plus 5. And the third child had 20 acres. Third child has 20, just the number 20. So if X is the total number, if we add the number of acres each child had, it should add up to X, right? So X is equal to, the first child had 2 over 5X. The second child had 2 over 5X plus 5. And the third child had 20. Yeah, does everyone understand how I got this equation here?
But wait, you have 5 minutes. David, please wait, you have 5 minutes.
1 minute? Okay, yeah, I can wait.
You have 5 minutes. Good. Good. We're going with David. David, please come proceed.
Okay, so now that we have this equation, right? Yeah, I hope everyone understood how we got this equation. And we can look at this diagram here too. This, if we think of this whole length as X, and the first child colored in blue, this is the amount of the first child took. The first child took this much land. And the rest, this part, was taken by the second and the third child. And the second child had 5 more acres than 2 over 5. So 2 over 5x plus 5 acres. The third child just had 20 acres. That's why we got this equation the total amount of x is equal to the first child, second child, and the third child. And if we solve this equation, what is, here, let me clear. So this, okay. So what is, here 2 over 5x plus 2 over 5x? That is just equal to 4 over 5x, right? 4 over 5x. And plus, we had 5 plus 20, which is 25. And this whole thing is equal to x. Right? Everything is equal to x. Everything should be equal to x. And can we solve this system of equation together? Sorry, this algebraic equation. How do we solve this? We can subtract 4 over 5x on both sides. So we can get rid of this. Minus 4 over 5x, this is 0. Then what is x minus 4 over 5x? Yeah, so if we find x minus 4 over 5x, we get 1 over 5x, right? X minus 4 over 5x is equal to 1 over 5x, right? Yeah, so that's why we have 1 over 5x is equal to 25. Here. And what is x? Multiply by 5 on both sides. And 25 times 5 is equal to 125. That's why we got x is equal to 125. And the rest is simple. Rest is just plugging in x. So if we find the number of acres the first child received 2 over 5 times x amount of land. So we simply multiply 2 over 5 times x, which was 125. So that equals 50 acres. The first child received 50. How much land did the second child receive? The second child received the first child plus 5. So 50 plus 5 is 55 acres. That's how we got the answer. First, we find x, and then we can find the first and the second child's amount of acre. Does this make sense, everyone? Do you have any questions about this? For this question, the main thing that you had to know was that if you add parts of the fraction together, you get 1. So here we added, 2 over 5x, all of these together, and we got x. That is the key part of this question and how to solve this. Yeah, let me know if you have any other questions, but I will be moving on to the next slide. Okay. So this one's a little bit easier. So the pie chart on the left shows the weight in kilograms of items Mrs. Mensah bought for her household. It says, what angle represents the fish? What is this angle here? This one. Always remember that a full circle measures 360 degrees. Everything should add up to 360 degrees in a circle. So did you find an answer for question 1? Or you still need a little more time? Yeah. Yeah, let's go through it together and we can check if the answers are the same. Yeah, okay. Let's see. Okay.
It's 72 degrees.
Oh, 72 degrees.
Yeah. 72 degrees.
Yeah, great job. It's 72 degrees. Yeah, you got it right. So, yeah, you add all of these together. The angle of fish plus flour, which is 54, rice, which is 108, and 36, which is sugar, plus gari, this symbol here, this one means 90 degrees. If you see this box, it's 90. And everything should be equal to 360. And if you add all these together and subtract from 360, then you get 72 degrees. Yeah, great job. Now let's look at number 2. If she bought a total of 20 kilograms of items, what is the weight of the flour bought?
The weight of that. Also, if she bought with of 20 kilograms of anything.
So what do we need to first do? We need to find the percentage of flour to the total, right? Yeah, let's start with the ratio. No, number of flour. So we have 54 degrees out of the total, right? 360 degrees. So we get this much flour out of the total. And we multiply by 20, right? That's how we find the weight of the flour bought. If she bought 20 kilograms of total items, then just the amount of flour bought, just the weight of the flour, will be 20 times 54 over 360, or the ratio of the flour to the total amount of items.
Yeah, yeah, sure.
Yeah, so I can show you parts of the process. So yeah, we had, see, 20 times 54 over 360, and we get 3 kilograms. And why is that? You see, if we simplify, if we divide by 20 from 360, we are left with 54 over 18. What is 54 over 18? That is 3, right? 3 kilograms. So we first needed to find the amount of flour, the percentage of flour out of the total. So we have 54 degrees of flour out of the total angle, which is 360. And then if we multiply by 20, the total items bought, we get just the weight of the flour. That's how we got this answer. Now let's solve this last question. Express correct to 1 decimal place of the weight of the sugar as a percentage of the weight of the rice. And how do we find this percentage? Weight of the sugar as the percentage of weight of the rice. Yeah, so the weight of the sugar as the percentage of the weight of the rice is we simplify, we simply just put the fraction of sugar. So how much sugar was there? There was 36 degrees amount of sugar. What was the percentage of the weight of the rice? Weight of the rice, 108 degrees. What is 36 over 108? If we simplify 36 over 108, we get 1 over 3 times 100. Because percentage, you always multiply by 100%. And in 1 decimal place, we get 33.3%. That's our answer. So please ask me if there is any question about this. Do you have any questions? Yeah, so does everyone understand how to solve this question? Or, yeah, if it is clear, then yeah, I'm glad. But always feel free to ask me any question. Let's quickly solve through this one as well. So, in a class of 30 students, 5 students wear glasses. If a student is selected at random from the class, what is the probability that the student does not wear glasses? We're finding the probability that students do not wear glasses. So how many students do not wear glasses? If 5 out of 30 wears glasses, you think? So 5 wear glasses, and 25, yeah, 25 is not glass. Do not wear glasses. Do not wear glasses. Okay, so what is the probability that the student does not wear glasses when selected at random? We have 25 as the number of students not wearing glasses. What is the total number of students? Yeah, it's 30, right? So probability is 25 over 30, right? Or we can simplify this here. We had 25 over 30. We can simplify this into 5 over 6 by dividing by 5 on both sides. Divide by 5. Divide by 5. So 5 over 6 is the probability of students not wearing glasses. Yeah. Does this make sense to everyone? Yeah. If it does, that's great. And I think we would have to end here for today. We do have, yeah, we're almost close to finishing. We have one more from 2025 exam, but we will continue to work on mathematics and solve through the 2024 exam as well. So yeah, I think that's for the end of today. Yeah. All right, yeah.
Okay, so you guys are done for today, right?
Yes, we're done for today.
So we are done for today, sure. All right. So thank you very much.
Yeah.
See you next week, right?
Next week. Yes, that's right. Yeah, thank you everyone
Next
for
week, no.
listening.
Next 2 weeks.
Or
Hello.
next 2 weeks. Yeah.
It's next 2 weeks, right? Because next week is holiday. That
Oh,
is 6
okay.
March. Yeah, that's 6 March. So 6 March is holiday. So next 2 weeks. Right?
Oh, okay. So I
Okay.
will see
Sure.
everyone in 2 weeks then. Yeah.
Sure.
Okay.
All right. So bye.
Yeah,
Just
thank
send our
you.
greetings to mommy and what? Well,
Yeah,
William.
I will tell them as
So,
well. Yeah.
all right.
All right. Thank you so
Bye,
much.
yeah,
Bye,
bye,
everyone.
bye.
Yeah. Bye, everyone.
All right. All right.